Yeah, I think I also have like a two-part question. The first part is very similar to what you shared about Adira. Like for Ida, and she can articulate this, she says that the thing that makes her most anxious about the idea of speaking in school, because right now she doesn't speak to friends or teachers at school, no one at school, is the response she's going to get, especially from peers, more so than from teachers. And I don't know if that's because she perceives them to be more unpredictable or why exactly that is, but definitely she finds it easier to imagine speaking to adults than to peers. So that it sounds,
Oh,
yeah, quite
yeah, that
similar.
makes sense to me.
The second question that's linked to this is part of what it seems to be rooted in is that she has this like protection around her voice and she doesn't want people to hear her voice without like her express intention, whether it's in like a live setting or whether it's
I
recorded.
mean, she doesn't want to accidentally talk where they.
Exactly. Like
Oh,
she
okay.
doesn't want people to hear, like, even if she's in a setting where she's feeling comfortable and she's not feeling anxious and she's expressing herself verbally, if she finds out someone overheard it, for instance, that makes her very upset. Or if she finds out someone's watched a video of her where she's speaking and she didn't authorize it, she feels very upset. So,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah, these are my two kind of things I'm
Right.
trying to
Well,
tease
think
out with
about it.
her.
Do both your children have a bit of a social anxiety trait? Although I would say Adira is not so socially anxious now that she found her voice.
Definitely less socially anxious.
She was very speech phobic.
Yeah.
So that's
She
like
was.
you have children that are stuck in the nonverbal that some can be socially anxious. I think there's a lot of kids like that maybe felt the expectation for speaking, became stuck, and they almost appear socially anxious because they lack the confidence. But their true personality and nature is not an overly timid child. And that's Adira.
Yeah, I agree with that
I mean, so
100%.
she's
Yeah.
taking over the classroom.
Right.
She is not.
She's
That's a socially anxious child in a group of new people wouldn't be like I see her at the center. She's going to be done. She was very speech phobic. That's why the sounds to words RSA approach worked. So, which leads me to two things. You rarely do children just start to talk and chat away at school. It's a very gradual process. That's what I want to preface this with. The other thing is that talking to your children about this and their fears and worries is how we start too, is what would make you comfortable. So one way is let's make pretend we're writing it like, do they both have friends that they connect with? Yes. So for those children that they're not talking to, do you want to if they want to? Most of these two do, your kids. And also a letter that if they could write to their friends, what would that letter say that they'd want them to know? And here's what I've done with some children. Some we don't send the letter, but others they give the letter and it says, I'm working on using my words and I'd like to add you to my club. And so we use the word club because for kids that are kind of stuck in the nonverbal, which both of your kids, because you're telling me she's somewhat comfortable, but she's just not talking, that ritual sound approach of unlearning mutism, kind of shaping sounds into words in a very ritualistic way. I mean, I do that with adults that are stuck. It's not like goo goo gaga. It's literally helping them see sounds and words from a cognitive perspective and putting it together to their answering questions and then eventually reading questions. Then once they add you to the club, the verbal stage, then you do keep it going questions. So to keep communication going, she's got to probably add people in school to her club, and it will not be in the classroom. It'll be out of the classroom. And if you have a child that progresses at home, we set up, remember I told you I'm very big with accountability, knowing what, when, where, and how, because this gives the children the control that they don't have. So they know that's home I do it, check it off. Maybe they need to do sounds to words or just keep it going questions. 3 questions answered, 3 questions asked, and then you transition it. I check it off. I did it in the car, did it in the playground or wherever, did it in the resource room, did it in the empty classroom. So now you've transitioned verbalization. Sometimes it's just question, answer. And the children realize that I now can answer questions and ask questions to my friends at school. Little kids, we adapt it based on where they're at with reading and sight words and things like that. Could be favorite questions. Would you rather questions? It could be like whatever it is that what they're working on, but their visual and cognitive awareness of shifting makes the difference between inconsistency and consistency. So seeing that chart helps them and who they added and where. I'm telling you, that is so critical with this population of kids and teens. So seeing that, but then adding that friend and what do they feel comfortable doing adding their friend? Is it the sounds to words and then keep it going questions? But